here peacefully protesting, and we got met with brutal attacks from these state troopers.
We as students have a responsibility to demand to demand from our universities divestment and hold them accountable for their complicity in genocide.
A demand to end the war in Gaza. Hundreds of protesters taking the UT Dallas campus by storm. Officers and state troopers on the scene in riot gear arresting those students.
In just hours, we're expecting another protest to begin, and we've got team coverage of everything that you need to know this morning. Tiffany Liu is live at UT Dallas, where things are calm right now. Meanwhile, our Chris Sadeghi is at the Collin County Jail, where protests continued throughout the night after those arrests. Chris, how are things there now?
Right now, there are still a handful of the protesters who are here at the Collin County Jail who stuck it out overnight in this rainstorm, although they are protected by the awning above them. They, along with ourselves, are waiting to see what will happen today with the 20 protesters arrested at UT Dallas, because there is a scheduled hearing this morning. Hundreds of pro-Palestinian protesters moved from UTD here to the jail last night as a show of support and solidarity with those arrested. Many remained throughout the night. As you just saw, the charges are all misdemeanors, criminal trespassing, some for resisting arrest. We do expect a judge will set bond for them this morning. Now, the sheriff's office did allow the protest at the jail last night, but they did close down their lobby because of the size of the crowd. We spoke to one of the people here who was here to show support for those arrested. He told us he just got back from a mission trip in Gaza where he saw the pain and death that comes of war, and says that is why protesters here are willing to risk a night in jail.
I think the cause is what's important, and I think that's what I don't want people to lose sight of. Like, why are these students protesting? Why are they willing to end up, being arrested and not go on the record and all that? It's because, they're seeing what I witnessed.
So we will wait and see what happens with those protesters, as they do have that hearing this morning where we expect they will have a bond set. And we also know that from other campus protests that we have seen some of those charges dropped in other campuses. We'll see what happens with these protesters who were arrested yesterday, but they were arrested for criminal trespass, as I mentioned, at UT Dallas. That is where Tiffany Liu is with a preview of what they expect on that campus today. Tiffany.
Yeah, well, Chris, it was only a matter of time before it happened here, and right now it is quiet on the UTD campus, but we are obviously standing by and watching if any of that activity changes, because from the students and the protesters that we spoke with yesterday, that wasn't the last of what we see. Now, yesterday, pro-Palestinian protesters rallied at UTD, setting up tents in the plaza's main walkway, and like many of the rallies we've seen across the country, by afternoon, state troopers in riot gear came to remove the encampment, and 20 people were arrested. The event was held by UTD Students for Justice in Palestine. Ralliers, including students and alumni, called on the university to divest in companies that are funding Israel's war against Hamas.
We were here peacefully protesting, and we got met with brutal attacks from these state troopers. We have people here who've lost family members in Gaza.
And our universities refuse to divest from the very corporations that are selling weapons to the Zionist entity to slaughter our people.
And UTD says protesters were given written notice to remove their tents and given the opportunity to comply. The statement reads, in part, individuals may peacefully assemble in the common outdoor areas of campus to exercise their right to free speech, but they may not construct an encampment or block pathways. Now, on the site, a small number of Jewish students stood in counter-protest, silently holding the Israeli flag. Now, at this point, we know that some of the pro-Palestinian protesters are UTD students. Of course, we know that they're going to be seeing a judge this morning, but we are working to find out if there are any consequences from the university. Dia, let's send it back to you.
Tiffany Liu reporting for us live on the campus of UTD this morning. Thank you. We'll stay on top of what's happening at UT Dallas as well as other college campuses across the country throughout the day. You can find any updates to this story online at WFAA.com.